It's Mitch from PickDogs.com and SportsChatPlace.com, and it is Monday, September 14th, 2020, here with your live show. We're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have another show that we do at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm not on that show every day. That one's hosted by Tony T and Dana Lane. Joe D'Amico is kind of the color man a few days a week there, and I'm on Thursdays. We have some of the guys that are on this show are on that 6 p.m. show, so you should check it out on our YouTube channels as well. Of course, at our websites, sportschatplace.com and pickdogs.com, we got free picks on every game every single day. And, of course, also here on YouTube, tons and tons of videos. So be sure to check it all out. But anyways, got sort of a light schedule, a bunch of little double headers in baseball, but meaningful games, a lot of meaningful games. And then we have Monday Night Football, a double header, and one NHL game. So let me bring in the Puck Dogs and Brian Bittler, and we'll get started with today's action. But morning, guys. Mixed up the order a little bit. I kind of just went with the order that it landed on today, and so got Rod up at top next to me and Brian in Rod's other spot. So going to mix things up a little bit. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
Look at my
Rod. Not sure why Chris's mic never seems to be set for the show. I'm not gonna say never. I will just say, oh, I got you all muted. That's why I got you. Happy Monday to me. Anyways, Rod, how did NFL Sunday go, and what do you got on tap for today?
NFL Sunday was all right. That last game killed me, but I'm not going to say that last play was. If that was a hockey play, they're going to the penalty box. Sorry, you can't. There's no acting in hockey. That was acting, but
I don't see it as acting at all.
I don't blame the game on one play. So.
Of course, but I mean, here's the general rule in the NFL, and it's always been this way. Okay, it's always been this way, and it was called this way earlier in the same game, and we saw it called consistently throughout the day, and that is if the receiver's arm or the defender's arm is extended out, then it is a penalty. Yes, it was clear. It clearly was extended. Clearly extended.
No.
Clearly.
It was bent.
No.
It was bent like this. And then the big act job was like, oh, he pushed me.
No, that would have no effect. That would have no effect.
It was a good sell job anyway.
No, but that would have the acting job in the NFL has no effect. It's not like the NBA where it's like, it's called on like what happens there. In the NFL, it's the action of the offender. Of the penalty, the NFL.
There was no action. Their arms. They were bumped along, and there was no pushing action. There was no shoving.
If you watch it again, you'll see a straight arm.
I watched it 10 times over in replay.
All right. Well,
there was no push.
Someone took a team that lost to the Jets on the road last year and laid points on a night game. Anyways, I mean, that's really what that boils down to. Okay, I mean,
sometimes it depends what side you're on, what you see when you see the replay.
Exactly, and it's like,
a little bit,
I've been roasted on so many bad calls throughout the years, man. It's like I'm immune to it, But I do know that when there's an extension of an arm, which there was, that it's a penalty every single time, and it was called consistently that way throughout the day, throughout all the games. That penalty was called consistently. I watched all the games, and it was consistently called that same way, which is rare for the NFL. Anyways, what do you got on tap today? It's one game.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's one game. Today is a new day. We move forward. Today I got a six-pack. Got a pick on both NFL games. One selection on the NHL and 3 MLB.
What side were you on in the Raptors call against in that game? I mean, it's all it gives and takes. Anyways, we've seen, especially, I'll tell you where it's really bad. It was just the strike zone in baseball. But Chris, what do you got on tap? How was your NFL yesterday, and what do you got on tap today?
Yeah, same for me. My NFL was sort of in the middle. We had some really good ones. We had some really bad ones. But at the end of the day, today's a new day. We move on. And today in the premium area, I got three NFL picks for the doubleheader tonight. It's on Monday night. Got a package with 3 MLB and 2 NHL. I put that together, or you can have everything for Maximum Monday, all at the website.
Wow. A lot of picks. When I put my picks in, there was not that many lines, so I might have to go back and put some more in. How about you, Brian? How was your NFL Sunday? You're the king of the NFL.
I'll tell you what, Monday, man, early yesterday, 1 o'clock games, I was embarrassed. Then I came back, won my 4 o'clock, won the prime time. So 2 and 3 in the day, I'm not crowing about that. But I got 2 plays tonight. I got my total of the week in the late game, and I got a side in the early game. So I'm gonna sweep those two. You can get both $29.95 at the website.
All right. I got 2+1 pack at the website. I got two NFL, both the sides in the NFL games, and 1 Major League Baseball game in there as well. It's a total, but yeah, I had a pretty solid opening day. It was, it's the NFL, so it's not going to be perfect. I got that push in the Chargers game with everybody else, and I had the 49ers, so I lost that one. I'm sure Bitler was on the other side of that one. But
I had the Niners.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, you had the Niners or the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Really?
I had the Niners.
Wow. That's surprising. But, yeah, Brian and I generally think a lot alike. And to be honest with you, the picks, I think the picks that I gave out on the show yesterday were like 11-2. I'm pretty sure I was either 10-3 or 11-2 in the picks that I gave out on the show, and I hit all the halftime shows. If you guys joined us at halftime, I gave out the Ravens second half, I gave out the Redskins, Washington football team second half, and I gave out the Rams second half in that in Sunday night game. I gave out, we had a lot of those halftime bets, and it was one. It's like normally I get crushed opening week of NFL. But this time I was just fine. I think I just stuck to the basics here in this one. You bet against the Lions consistently. You bet against Carson Wentz consistently. And, you just stick to those type of strategies. Cowboys were favored on the road when I placed my bet. I know the Rams eventually became the favorite in that game. But the Cowboys were favored on the road. I mean, they lost to the Jets last year on the road. And they were terrible. So until you see something like that, and Mike McCarthy, not exactly a, he didn't get fired in Green Bay for knocking it out of the park. That's for sure. And we saw that defense get absolutely drilled, on that opening drive. What player, Brian, do you think was the fantasy guy? My guy was J. When we did the show, I said J.K. Dobbins was my guy. For the day, my rookie that was going to do it. He had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't have a lot of yards. How does that rate out, like in the fantasy scoring? Because I know nothing about it.
Touchdowns are the most important, but some leagues you get points per reception. So, touchdowns are always king, though.
But he had 2 of them.
J.K. Dobbins was the guy I wish I would have had.
So he was good. He was a good fantasy guy.
Yeah, definitely for the value of where he was taken at. I don't think most people would have started him yesterday, though.
I did in our little game here. He was my guy. But anyways, I don't know. It was, the NFL gives and takes. We know this. It's a long season. There's going to be a lot of horrific calls. How about that Rams stadium? Oh man. It's like I'm not one of those like guys that goes gaga over the stadium. But I gotta say, that is unbelievable, right? What do you think Jerry Jones was thinking when he saw that thing? Was he like, I gotta build me a new stadium?
I gotta build Jerry Land to take over Jerry World.
Man, that's just crazy, right? I mean, wow. I'm not, like I said, I'm not one of those big stadium guys. I never have been, but I gotta say, I was, from what we saw on TV, it was super impressive, and I thought the Rams uniforms didn't look nearly as bad as they did when they unveiled them, as well.
Yeah, they still look pretty ugly.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're football uniforms. They're not gonna, no one's uniforms are gonna look great. Who was the worst yesterday? So I say Carson Wentz, and I think Baker Mayfield was bad, and I think what makes Baker Mayfield worse is that he talks a big game, like he talks like he's relevant. You know, like, I'm going to kneel, I'm going to stand, I'm going to do all this other stuff. It's like, how about practicing for the game? Because what I saw was your face in the turf a lot. A real lot. And the Ravens, it was like they hated him or something. It was like they just were rejoicing and just slamming this guy around the field. And they were really slinging him, too. And he just got drilled. And even when he actually threw, like, legitimate passes, even guys like Beckham Jr. were dropping him. It was really bad. They took that game off the grid on the NFL on the NFL package on DirecTV, like where they put all the games on one grid, and then there's like sometimes if there's too many games to fit on the grid, they put them on other. They have every game's on its own channel, but then you also have the grid that shows all the games, and then you have like some games that don't fit the grid. And it was like Ravens Browns, like, we better take this off the grid. It's like, this is gonna be ugly. This is not what you want to see. Which oddly enough, they put the Bills Jets in position 1, which, I mean, anyone here have the Jets yesterday? Brian was a Jet guy yesterday morning on the show.
No, I said the Bills. I said it was square, but I was going to take the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, Gase is just pathetic, man. He is just, oh, my God. So we saw, like, I think the one thing that we saw, and that kind of leads us into night game, so I do have a point here. I do have a point. Chris, how bad was Carson Wentz?
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
I watched a good chunk of that game, and I was like, well, it's surprising, but then it's not. Like, you thought maybe you'd turn a corner, and then you realize, wait a second, this is Carson Wentz we're talking about, and then it was just an eye opener. It was like, it just. Does he hold on to the ball too long, or do you think it's like just an ego thing? Because we know the play calling is crap, right? I mean, just straight crap in Philly, right? The play calling was, I mean, as bad as Wentz played, the play calling was worse, right? I mean, it was worse, and because
in some of those situations, he had no time. He would have got intentional grounding if you threw the ball away.
Jared Goff looked like he had the Marino. It looked like he had the Marino release, in last night's game. It was, that's coaching, He
had no choice. If he didn't, he would have been eaten.
But it's like, all night long. That was the game plan, was like, we're going to get the ball out of this guy's, because Goff was a holder too. Goff's a guy, man. Yeah. He holds onto the ball. It's like, oh man, bad things happen. It's like Baker Mayfield. I mean, Baker Mayfield still believes the pump fake is a legitimate play in the NFL with today's speed rushers. It's like,
Drew Brees was really fast on release yesterday. In the Tampa Bay game.
The quarterbacks that's why Dan Marino is considered the greatest quarterback of all time, because he had that release. Boom, he got sacked 4 times in a season. It's like that's it. Yeah, he had Dwight Stevenson as center. He had Richmond Webb. He had some great offensive linemen, but you get sacked 4 times in a season. You get rid of the ball in a hurry. And Phillip Rivers has a lightning quick release too. His just accuracy isn't there like Marino's was. He just doesn't throw the lasers like Marino did. And when Marino left the Dolphins, he came back as a consultant, and when they didn't trade up to draft Phillip Rivers, he quit because he saw the release, and he was like, I can work with this guy, But that is the truth. Anyways, I thought it was a great opening day all the way around. I didn't have my best day. I certainly didn't have my worst day. I did 6 picks yesterday. I was 4-2-1, or 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 2-1 in the early, 1-1 in the late, and then hit the Rams on the late ones. We could talk about pass interferences, but I mean, there was the Eagles were only up at halftime against the Washington because a horrific call in that game. I mean, a guy hits a guy with the shoulder pads. They call roughing, gets a first down. The Eagles get a touchdown out of that. Washington would have had the ball like on the 30-yard line or something. But how about Chris? I know you're a Patriots guy. How about Rob Gronkowski in the Bucs uniform? You think these guys? You think that Brady and Gronk are going to look back in like 10 years and say, "Why did we do this?" I mean, they played the Saints, so it's like you could forgive the result. You know, they were going to lose that game anyway. They could have been in New England. They were going to lose that game, right? If there's fans in the stands and it's New England opening day at New Orleans, they're going to lose, right? I mean, they're going to probably lose that game anyway. But Rob Gronkowski gave Brady a look at one point during the game like, what are we doing out here? You know, and it was like, I felt it, you know. I felt it. It was kind of like Rob Gronkowski was like, I retired when I was still on the good team, you know, and now here we are doing this in these uniforms. And the wall white on white with the, I mean, this is not a good look for these guys, right? It's like, it's not a good look. I don't know, Chris. What'd you think there with that Gronkowski and Brady?
The look that I think sort of summed it up, at least in that regard, and we can forgive the loss because it's to the Saints, who are still a really, really good team. I think the one look that kind of summed it up for me was when Brady threw the pick six, and he kind of threw his hands up onto his helmet, like, "What did I just do?" And it was kind of like, it's too early to say because it's only obviously week one, but you kind of get the feeling that he was just like, "What am I doing?" See,
to me, the perfect Brady exit was like the year. It was the same thing he did when he dropped the touchdown pass when he was the receiver against Philly in the Super Bowl, right? And that where you kind of see that it was the end of the line for Brady. And then he came back the next year and he won the Super Bowl and he completed the pass to Gronk. And, you know, when the chips were down and everything was down, it was kind of like, you know, all you needed was one play and he was able to make that play. That would have been the time to exit. But we have a comment here saying, apologize to Chris for calling a fool when he took the Nuggets money line. I was on the same play. I gave out the Nuggets in my premium pick, so I didn't call him a fool for that. It was probably something else.
It was something down the line.
Yeah, but it was definitely not the Nuggets because I had the Nuggets also. So I'm at almost 65% for my NBA. It's like I'm afraid to even make another pick. It's like that's insane. Ryan, 65% for NBA, is that even possible?
That's insane. I'll tell you, I'm gonna have to.
I mean,
I don't know. Absolutely crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's like I don't think I've never been 65% in the sport. You know, in all the years that I've been doing this, I've had some great winners and I've had some really good stuff, and I've gotten like, you know, late information. You know, like somebody knows something, they let me know. It's like that's always the best, right? But it's like I've never like legitimately gone in the handicapping like on a website like this, like where you put your picks in early and, you know, to have them, you know, equal ground for everybody kind of type thing. Gone 65% in the sport. I've never done it. And I don't know. Something's happened in the NBA where it's all just clear as day to me these days. And it's like I haven't hit them all. I mean, 65% is still 35% losers. I've probably given out close to 100 picks. So 35 solid losers for you guys to pick at me at. Any packages that give the best bet of the day? I think there are a bunch. Anyways, let's get to tonight's action. First game, Rod has gone fuzzy. I don't know what happened. Steamed up the camera.
There he is.
Yeah, I think he's gone fuzzy though, right? So anyways, we got the Giants and the Steelers. Big Ben returns to the Steelers lineup. The Giants made some curious offseason moves. I mean, really curious. Why do you sign the Packers linebackers after what we saw in San Francisco in January? Rod, what do you see here in this Giants-Steelers matchup?
For me in this one, it's the Giants. I'm not taking the Giants. Well, you're gonna hope on your Giants quarterback. You know, I'm not touching that guy with a 10-foot pole. But then can you is Big Ben going to come back 100%? He didn't look so 100% before the injury. For me, the Steelers defense is still good. I think Big Ben can do enough to cover this number. Give me the Steelers here tonight.
How about you, Chris? We got the Giants, who basically have one good player on the whole roster, right? Against the Steelers, who they're somewhat on the decline, but we know what we're going to get with the Steelers, and it's going to be solid blocking up front. You're going to get a power running game. They're going to share. My guess is they're going to share carries, Snell and Connor, right? And you have receivers that are kind of, I would say, inadequate, but they went with a receiver early, right, in the draft. So we'll have to see what kind of impact that has. But what you have here is a really good defense. And once again, they made a good trade last year. That Minkah Fitzpatrick trade from Miami paid off in gigantic. And here he is against a guy who stinks at quarterback, and he doesn't have a lot of options. I don't know. Is there a prop bet out there on Minkah Fitzpatrick pick 6? I mean, I think something like that. I mean, I think it seems like it's almost obvious, right? It's a gimme.
I figured this out. I think I know where the fool comment comes in, because going to get the laughing track ready. I'm going to take a shot with the Giants. Hear me out. They brought it. The Giants bring in Jason Garrett. I know Jason Garrett got bashed from his time because he could never get the job done in Dallas. But he has a good offensive mind. I think he's going to be able to work out some kinks with Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. He's going to be able to get these guys going. And I think this is a game where we're going to see the lack of a preseason. We're going to see the effects of that. I think it's going to take a little while for Pittsburgh to get going. And if the Giants can put up 14 points, that could be enough. That could be enough at least to sneak in the back door and cover. So I'll take a shot with the Giants and the points.
I don't understand these comments about the Nuggets still. It's like I clearly took the Nuggets. I mean, I'm going to show you guys. So it's going to happen here in just a second.
Oh, I saw it. I saw you at the Nuggets. I looked.
Here it is. Hang on a sec. We're going to show you guys exactly. So you can see right down here, it says, it's right, let's see, right here. So there it is, Denver Nuggets win. So I'm not understanding the Nuggets comments. I had the Nuggets. It's like, all right, let's put that one to rest. Brian, I know what do you like here, Giants or Steelers?
I'll tell you what, after this I got cut out for a second, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I really think this game is similar to the Jaguars-Colts yesterday. I think you're going to see similar things happen. As far as the total goes, I like it to go under the number. I think we're going to see Pittsburgh's defense step up. I think the Giants are actually going to start off the year by playing some defense. Take the under here.
What do you think about these Giants? What do you think about these giant linebackers against the Steelers' running game? I don't understand the logic here, because we saw these guys give up. Chris is our statistician here. How many yards was it that the Niners ran for them on? And these are the same.
How good is James Conner?
These are the same. These are the same guys. This is Blake Martinez and whoever, right? These are the same guys. So they got them both from the Packers. Yeah, these are the same guys.
I think it was upwards like 300 yards.
Yeah, over 300. It was over 300.
Yeah, maybe they come out with their hair on fire. I
think it could have been 500, but the end zone kept getting in the way. Anyways, so you like the Giants tonight, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying I'm giving out my free pick is on the under. I think it's a low scoring game.
All right, I'm kind of torn on the total in this game. I gave out the over in the free pick video, but I'm really not sure. To be honest with you, I have a premium pick on the side. Anyways, we'll kill some time here while Brian is away. But we got the Titans and the Broncos. This is interesting because you got a young quarterback in Denver, a guy that I wanted. The that's the guy that I wanted in Miami was Drew Lock, and I think he does have a bright future. I like the receivers that the Broncos added, but last time we saw Derrick Henry, it didn't look like it was a lot of fun for the defense. The Titans, I think, got a little better in the offseason. This is a team that was, the Broncos are a rebuilding project. I think they have things going the right direction. I think they've put a few pieces of the puzzle together. I think what happened was they had a few really big salary guys, right? So when you have those few really big salary guys that were left over from your glory days, from your winning days, from your Peyton Manning team, when you have a few of those leftovers and you have a salary cap league, that kind of just weighs on the whole roster. Right. So now it takes time because now you have to build with young guys that have lighter salaries. And that's what the Broncos, where they're at. But I think they're maybe in the they might be in the fourth inning, while the Titans are in the bottom of the ninth with the bases loaded. They are, they were 3 quarters away from going to the Super Bowl last year. I'm not a Ryan Tannehill guy, but if you don't ask him to do much, I mean, he's perfectly serviceable to stand there and hand the ball to Derrick Henry and then, throw to wide open tight ends and receivers. Rod, what do you see here in Denver tonight? Denver generally a very tough building, but without the fans, we saw it yesterday, a few of these stadiums. It was like... The best was Tony Romo and Jim Nantz talking about the fake crowd noise and how the fake crowd didn't like the call, and it was like the crowd really didn't like the play call there. It was like the Patriots took a knee.
Really
the Patriots ran the ball heading into the half, instead of trying to get a score, and it's like wow, the crowd really didn't like that play call. I was like the fake crowd. I kind of
crowd did that a couple times yesterday.
All right,
they started booing. It was like,
I have something to say. I thought the cardboard cutouts were fun in baseball for a little bit, but now I'm done with them. Now I'm done. It's starting to look like memorials of dead people. Right?
Just wrong.
Yeah, it's like it was like a month ago. The Arnold Palmer would have been funny, but this time it was kind of like. It's kind of just there. And then I'm looking at it, it's like, this just looks weird now,
Yeah, the novelty's worn off.
The novelty's worn off, and especially since the NBA nailed it, Since the NBA got it so right, by having some kind of weird video screens there and having actual fans in the stands.
Yeah.
I like that way better. Way better than this. I mean, this looks like dead people. Speaking of dead people, what do you think, Rod?
This Broncos team, they've definitely added a bunch of pieces on offense to help Drew out. Tennessee's still Tennessee. Of course, they still got Derrick Henry. You still got Tannehill. Tannehill had a great year. Can he repeat that this year as well? It's yet to be seen. For me in this one, give me the under. I think both teams like to run the ball and grind the clock. I like the under here. Give me the under.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, Rod took the words right out of my mouth. I like the under as well. I think this is going to be a game where you're going to see a lot of ground game and a lot of chewing up of the clock. I think this one finishes under the total as well.
How about you, Brian?
Tonight on the drive-thru, I'm giving out the side absolutely free, so tune in. But as far as a free pick here, take Noah Fant to score the first touchdown, 11-1 odds, $50 on that.
All right, I think this one's going to stay under. It's just me. Anyways, let's do the hockey game first. Let's mix it up a little bit. Rod, we got the Stars in Vegas going at it. Did the Stars video in one take yesterday. Rather
for me, give again, this series has been all about tag checking, lots of hitting, and goals coming at a premium. So give me the under here. I'll take the under 5.5.
Chris, anything?
Yeah, I'm still not going to waver. I still like the Stars to close the series out.
And Brian.
Small lean to Vegas, high money line, but I see it going 7 games.
Thanks for Rod.
There it is.
Hey, my Angels won yesterday. That's all I can say.
Hell, even a blind squirrel. Got the Major League Baseball. Got kind of a weird card today, right? There's 10 games, a bunch of double headers. It was like they didn't want to compete with Monday Night Football. I mean, it's there's always kind of this respect thing, you know? Like certain events don't want to compete with other events, and I think they just didn't want to compete with Monday Night Football, but it's like they had to do it because the season is winding down, and if you guys saw my videos today on YouTube, I kind of break down the playoff races in each of these different divisions and everything, and how the games relate to that. So the way the playoffs work, just to refresh everybody's memory, and those that haven't had a chance to watch my videos, first place and second place in each division make the playoffs, regardless of your record. Regardless of what your record is overall in the league. So you could have the 10th best record and be second place in your division and still make the playoffs. And then, so it's those top 2 teams in each division. And then after that, it's the teams with the 2 best records that don't fit that category. So there is a big issue out there right now in the National League, and that is that the St. Louis Cardinals have played significantly less games than everybody else. They've played at least 6 games less than everybody else that they're competing against. So they're going to have to make these games up in a hurry. They're lucky they're in Milwaukee, right? So keep these things in mind as we go forward, and I'll kind of mix these in, even though I did it on the videos. I'll bring it back in again, and we'll talk about, I'll explain I'll try my best to explain how these games, what these teams need to happen in order for there to be a postseason for them. So the first game we have is the Reds and the Pirates, game 1, Trevor Bauer against Cody Ponce. So here's the Reds situation right now. The Reds they're not going to make second place. Well, they have a shot at second place in the Central. Oops, I clicked on something. Oh, that was weird. What did I do? Oh, no. Anyways, I clicked on something there. All right, might have to reset. There we go. Clicked on a button. Anyways, I see what happened. I have the settings here on this screen. I have 3 screens is what I'm looking at, so it's like I don't know what I'm clicking outside. So the Reds are in third place in the Central. The Reds are in third place in the Central, but they're 2 games in the standings behind the Cardinals here. The Cardinals are they're 2.5 games behind the Cardinals in the standings, but they trail the Cardinals by 6 games in the loss column. So catching the Cardinals is going to be very, very difficult. Okay, because the Reds only have 13 games left. So basically, if they lose another game, they're going to be done. Because the Cardinals, if they go, the Cardinals have 20 games left. The Reds have 13 games left. So the Cardinals are really going to have to fall off the map to catch them. In 6 games is a tremendous amount in the loss column. It's especially if you're the Reds. But anyway, so the Reds, ahead of the Reds in the standings are the San Francisco Giants, and that's a game and a half. 2 games in the loss column and 3 games in the win column. And then ahead of them also is the Rockies and the Brewers. So the Reds have some big problems, and the problem that the Reds have are those 26 losses. That is their problem. They cannot really afford to lose another game at this point. Anyways, Bauer and Ponce. Rod, what do you think?
For me in this game, Bauer pitched to Pittsburgh and gave up 4 runs on September 4th. I like the over here in game 1. I think we're gonna see some runs.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on the over as well. I think we're starting to see Bauer regress a little bit, and I'd like Ponce to give up a few as well. So give me the over.
And how about you, Brian?
I don't know how you could take the Reds in this spot. Juice is way too high. I'll take a shot with the Pirates here.
I'm with you because I've seen the Pirates have big success at Great American Ballpark in the past. I used to live in Cincinnati years ago, and I was there when they opened Great American Ballpark. And actually, the team they opened against was the Pirates, who won at Great American on opening day of the opening park and the next day. When I was at that game and as well, and they really, really hammered them. And it's kind of, they hammered them so bad that I'm still talking about it. But I think the Reds are done, and I think we've seen the Reds at these big prices this season, and I think they've won like one game at a big price like this, if even that. We got also game 2 for the Reds and the Pirates. Anthony DeSclafani up against Mitch Keller. The Reds could be mathematically eliminated by the time they take the field for this one. Pirates are pretty good at playing for nothing. Rod?
I don't like the Scafani. I'll take Pittsburgh here in game 2.
How about you, Chris?
I think you could see a Pittsburgh sweep of this doubleheader, so I'll take Pittsburgh on the money line here.
I'll ask this one for our audience. Parlay?
Possibly.
People, anytime you say 2 different picks together in any kind of relation at all, people ask, should I parlay those? Brian's like, I hear that all the time.
I hate parlays. Anyway, I think the best bet you could do is $50 on the Pirates in both games. I think they're going to win one of the two, get a profit.
All right. Well, we got the Phillies and the Marlins. Got Vince Velasquez. This one was supposed to be originally when I did the video on this thing. It was Wheeler against Lopez. I used to like Lopez, but he was involved in that 29-9 beatdown, and he really got hit with the ugly stick in that one. And if you look at before that game, he also got smashed around. And Vince Velasquez, he's made a career out of getting smashed around. How the total drops from 9 to 8.5 in this thing is beyond me. I'm not only am I going to bet this again, I'm going to bet it again. This is only a 7-inning game. I get it, right? But Vince Velasquez and Pablo Lopez over 8.5 could easily happen by the 2nd or 3rd inning. We've seen Pablo. We've seen him do it. It's not, and the Marlins, very much competing for a postseason spot, and so are the Phillies. These are big games. These are really big games. The Marlins are very much in the mix here. And the Phillies, I believe, for 2nd place in the East. So the Marlins have a half-game lead on the Phillies for 2nd place in the National League East. So Pablo Lopez, 1.2 innings pitched. I love this line. 4 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, 4 walks, and a dinger. He lasted 55 pitches in 1.2 innings in that 29-9 beatdown in Atlanta. And then before that, it was 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned, 2 walks, and one of these. He's been giving it up in bunches, Pablo, the last 2 outings. I don't know. Rod?
I agree. You got to take the over here. I'm definitely going to see a whole schwack of runs. Be like playing football. 14-7.
I'm sure our podcast listeners don't appreciate this, but I'm twirling my finger around like the umpire does when they signal home run. Chris?
I'm going to take the over, but I'm also going to take the Marlins. I think that previous start from Lopez before the 2 blow-ups was at home, and He threw, I think, 7 shutout innings against the Rays, and it was just a matter of the Marlins not giving him any run support. So I'll take the Marlins in the over.
Do you find the 8.5 somewhat offensive?
Yeah, a little bit, but
An insult to your intelligence?
I'm also not surprised.
Brian, how about you?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go it looks too easy, too good to be true. I'm going to go under, and I'm going to take the Marlins. I'm going to parlay those two together for 50.
Yeah, it's we got a lot of Carson Wentz apologists here in the crowd. A lot of Carson Wentz. His offensive line was hurt.
Yeah, I mean that's the facts. Though there's some quarterbacks that had far worse games yesterday.
Yeah, one of them wasn't Haskins. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, I had the Redskins, so it played out the way we
it's
thought.
The Washington football team.
I'm not going to put it on
Washington football team.
That's for sure.
Oh, Joe Burrow, first time in the NFL. I thought compared to other quarterbacks, first time ever starting, I thought he was great, but still a rookie. He for everything that he did good, that shovel pass to to the linebacker, that was a rookie mistake. Yeah, it was like wow. And then, the poor kicker, it's like he hasn't missed within 40 yards in 26 touches.
Yeah. I love how they just burn him.
And that is
that's it.
And that is the life of a Bengals fan right there.
Oh, yeah. That's why you call them the Bungles, not the Bengals.
They got some weapons in Cincinnati.
Oh, you know what? This
this
Marlins Phillies game is not a doubleheader. It's actually a full 9-inning game. So I love the over.
The under's looking better now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just think you're trying to sucker you into that over bet. I'm not falling for it.
I'm falling for it. We got Marco Gonzalez and Jesus Luzardo. Interesting here. So Oakland no longer leads the American League with the best record. That belongs to the White Sox. And so Oakland now sits on top of the American League West. They are 6.5 games clear of the Astros. So they're in. They're a game back of the White Sox for best overall. It's an exact one game, too. They're one game back, one more loss and one less win. So it's exactly a full game from the White Sox for the overall. And they're tied. They're a half game back of Tampa Bay, who is tied in the loss column. And they're in the win column. I'm not really sure because they're talking bubble for baseball playoffs, so I'm not really even sure what this all is going to mean. It certainly, look at the NBA where we have number 3 against number 5 or something in that, right? So anyways, Marco Gonzalez has been pretty good. Luzardo, I think, is overrated. I think this is a good spot for the doggy. How about you, Rod?
Yeah, I agree. Give me the Mariners here.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm a Marco Gonzalez guy. Give me the Mariners.
Brian?
Yes, consensus. Mariners here. Dog. Gotta take it.
We got another Mariners consensus 2 days in a row. Yesterday we hit with Dunn on the consensus for the Mariners. We got Kwang Young Kim. I guess he's cured from his liver problems. Up against Josh Lindblom for Game 2 for Game 1 in Milwaukee. Milwaukee. The Cardinals, like I said, the Cardinals have played about 7 games less than everybody else. 6 to 7 games than everybody else. But they have a nice lead in that loss column. It's where, the reason why they're in the standings where they are is because of where they are in the win column. The Cubs have the same amount of losses as the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are 8 games back in the win column from the Cubs, so they're probably not going to catch them. But they can put the Brewers pretty much away, and the Reds. No problem. But the Brewers, tied with the Reds there, so there's still, puncher's chance here. If they can get it to 500, they're 20-24, they're 4 games under. They kind of have no tomorrow, in them. But what we're seeing especially in the National League is the teams at the top are all winning and the teams at the bottom and the mid-range are all losing. What do you see here, Rod?
For me, I like the Cardinals here in game number 1. I'm not. Lindblom's just looked awful.
So really, really odd line movement here. I know Bittler's going to be all over that, but Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals as well. I like him as a starter, so I'll take the Cardinals.
So, Brian, Milwaukee's gone from plus 105 to minus 115 with 32% of the public on them. I don't even need to ask you who you got here.
No, I mean it's this will be the third straight day that I would lose with the Brewers, but I'm gonna bet even more today because it just. I mean, I guess Kim plays in the back of his baseball card today and has a bad outing. I'm gonna take the Brewers.
So I saw in the Facebook group someone gave out that strategy where like every time you lose, double your bet.
Oh, I don't do that.
No, that's a horrible system. I have to tell you, because two things happen to you, especially at the casino. I've seen people do it at the blackjack table too. There's only two things that could possibly happen in the end of that. Outside, yeah, I'm sure you have your share where you win, but I'm sure there are times when you win doing that, but I have a friend that used to do that, and I saw two things happen to him consistently using this methodology. One is you max out your ATM card, right, where you hit your daily max that you can take out of your ATM, and number two is you hit the table limit, of the most that you can bet on a hand. So, most blackjack tables, in Vegas or anywhere else, all do. They have a limit. It might be $5,000, it might be $10,000, it might be $25,000, it might be, it might be less, depending on what state you're in and any of that stuff. I think in some of the states, I've seen a lot lower, table limits. But like in Vegas, there's tables 25,000, limit or whatever. But if you do that, doubling a bet, even if you start at $100 a hand, you will hit a hand where you'll need to bet over that table max to double your last bet. It will happen if you play enough. It will definitely happen. I've seen it. I've seen it more than once. Yeah, I have to say that this all looks really fishy to me. This Brewers Cardinals, but I can't see the Brewers beating the Cardinals. It's like they're so bad, so bad. How about game 2? Corbin Burns and Daniel Ponce de Leon. This line cannot be correct.
It can't be.
I've seen it verified around that at three different books.
Have you tried to place the bet?
Yeah.
You got really? You got it?
I got it.
Really?
There's no
way.
You got plus 190?
Plus 190.
On the cards.
On the cards.
All right.
See, I got FanDuel up right now, and for some reason it only offers me 2 different baseball games a day, and that's not one of them. But, I mean, that's only Pennsylvania FanDuel.
Well, that's because it's late lines. There was a lot of late lines. So it will update. FanDuel's going to take your action, Brian. Believe me. If they don't, I might know a guy.
I mean, even then, I'm looking at another one right now, and it's giving me plus 170. So
that's crazy. They got to be begging you to take the Cardinals here, right? I'm going to guess you're going to get refunded on that, but that's just me. Tiki Toussaint and George Lopez going at it in Baltimore. I mean, the line here, 10.5, now down to 10 for the total. And these are two teams that have really been swinging the bats and two pitchers that, there's nothing. I don't see any resistance.
Me either. Give me the over.
Yeah, Lopez, the last time he started, so he's had 3 relief appearances where he's been pretty sharp, but 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. And that's not bad. 6 strikeouts.
The way the Braves are hitting the ball right now, they're going to eat him for dinner.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's definitely a possibility. How about you, Chris?
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the under. That 53 runs in their last 5 games, I don't think that's sustainable. And 29 of those came against the Marlins. And like you said, Lopez, he pitched well in his last appearance. And, the Orioles only got 16 hits in 4 games against the Yankees over the weekend. So I'll take the under. I think both pitchers missed some bats here.
All right. Dylan Cease and Jose Barrios at guaranteed rate. The Chicago White Sox now have the best record in the American League, the second best record in all of baseball. They've had some soft scheduling. They've taken advantage of it. They now face a Twins team that has been a thorn in their side. I will tell you. But Barrios, this guy has never really lived up to the billing, as far as I'm concerned. Rod, what do you think?
For me in this one, I like the over. Give me the over 9. I think we're going to get some runs here.
How about you, Chris?
Give me the White Sox. I'm still not sold on Barrios, even though he's been pitching a little bit better lately. I think White Sox are playing too well right now.
How about you, Brian?
Seems like a trap to take the White Sox here. This is a premium pick. I'm giving it out. Take the Twins. Go big. They're gonna get it done today.
I love the White Sox here. I don't see it. Barrios, to me, has been the guy. Like, if the Twins are going to lose one to the White Sox, this would be the one they would lose. It's like Barrios. It's like when you're drafted that high, and you're seen as that high of a prospect, you need to be able to pitch at least a few shutout games and, one-run games. But those are few and far between with this guy. This guy, he gets into the 5th inning. It's 4 runs, 3 runs. And it always looks like it's like, wow, man, they got 3 or 4 runs off this guy. It always looks odd that the other team is scoring these runs and that he's pitched so well, but still giving up these runs. But it's the same story over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, I don't think you can give up 4 runs today and win against Chicago, because I think 4 becomes 8 against this White Sox team in a hurry.
Quick.
Real quick. We got game 2 of Seattle-Oakland. Margavicius up against Mike Minor. I like Seattle. I know they're not going to make the playoffs. But I like this team. I like this team. I think they have a chance, to make it. But the problem is that you have those American League East teams with the Blue Jays and the Yankees up there, So one of those teams is probably going to be the at-large team. And then, the Twins, the White Sox, and the Indians, one of those teams will be the other odd man out.
I like Seattle here today. Give me. As Brian would say, put $50 on Seattle in both games, and I bet you can hit one of them.
Yeah, give me Seattle for the sweep.
Right.
I'm going Seattle. I'm going to do what Roger said, $50 on both of those two.
How about Pittsburgh, Seattle parlay? Should parlay those?
Give it a whirl.
Should parlay those? Throw in the Cardinals at plus 200. Speaking of ones weird bets for me, I like the Dodgers today against the Padres. Kershaw minus 130. I don't love Lamet. When Lamet first came up, I was all over him, but now it's like I'm less all over him. I mean, last time out, shutout, but and that was against the Rockies. But outside of that, he's been super hittable, and it's like it seems that his well, I guess not super hittable, but it just seems that when his relief comes in, that he gets that they get battered. It's like, so last time out, right? Or you go back to his last few starts, he allows 2 runs. The final score is 8-7. He allows 3 runs. The final score is 10-7. He allows three runs, 11-4. It's like he's involved. Here's one where he went 6.2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned, 11 strikeouts. The final score was 9-5. It's like he's involved in a lot of high-scoring games. It's like he has a ton of no decisions because he's involved in games that end up being really high-scoring. It's because he throws so damn hard that the other guys come in and it looks like a meatball. It's like, who are you going to put in relief? After Dinelson Lamet, this guy is one of the hardest throwers in baseball. So it's like any reliever you throw in, their fastball is going to look like batting practice. Kershaw's so crafty. Rod?
For me in this one here, I'm not a Kershaw guy. I don't like Kershaw. Give me San Diego here. I'm not a Kershaw guy.
I don't know, man.
Give me San Diego.
I hate
here.
the Dodgers, and I'm a Kershaw guy. Chris?
Yeah, I'm completely a Kershaw guy. I think we're seeing vintage Kershaw again. Is he confirmed for this start?
Yep.
And I'm all over the Dodgers here, like white on rice. Give me the Dodgers.
How about you, Brian?
I tell you what, if you select action, there's always a chance they'll pull Kershaw. And Lamet's numbers, they're pretty good. I'm going with the Padres. This means a lot. I'll take San Diego.
I'm going with the Dodgers all the way here. I just think that in the big games like this, this is it. This is the best record in the American League versus the best record in the National League. These are the two best teams, in the National League this season, and they're both in the same division. I know the Padres, they leave it all on the table, but I just think the Dodgers have gutsier guys from top to bottom on this roster. And I think with Clayton Kershaw on the mound, even though he doesn't get it done in the postseason usually, I think with an abbreviated season, maybe this is his year. This guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and whether you like him or not, or whether you like, the Dodgers or not, it's tough not to like Kershaw. He's kind of like the Peyton Manning of baseball of the last 10 years. He's kind of that guy, right? Who has just been the constant. It's always like, uh-oh. It's like, here comes Kershaw and he's on. It's like, it's quick innings. It's like just, he sucks the wind out of their sails. And, the way he's been pitching this year, it's nice to see. I mean, I think one of the things that, as I've gotten older, and the YouTube guys will say I'm 100 and something, but, as I've gotten older, I think I've gotten more of an appreciation for when you watch a guy who is just a certain Hall of Famer, and you get to watch him during his career. And Kershaw is one of those guys. We got to see Tom Brady in the prime of his career. I got to see Michael Jordan in the prime of his career. I lived in Boston when Larry Bird was ruling the roost with the Celtics and playing against Magic, and Worthy and Kareem. And it's like, when I was a kid, it was kind of like you took these things for granted. When I was younger, it was kind of like, wow, it's like this guy has, you see these fantasy players and they go gaga over a guy like Matthew Stafford. It's like, if you think Matthew Stafford is anything, then you never saw, some of these other guys that played under a different set of rules in the NFL. If you think that, if you think like this, if you think some of these running backs, like, I don't know, if you thought like Todd Gurley a few years ago was something special, then you never saw O.J. Simpson play football, because that was something special. O.J. Simpson went over 2,000 in a 14-game season, on a crappy team where they knew he was going to get the ball every single time and carried him to the playoffs.
No, Barry Sanders used to be one of those backs.
Right. Barry Sanders was exactly the same thing, just a different breed. It just these guys don't come around too often. It's like, I don't care if, David Johnson is your first fantasy player 2 years ago. He's nothing compared to Billy Sims. Nothing. You're nothing. Or Earl Campbell. You're nothing compared to those guys. And that's just the way that it is. And I think Clayton Kershaw fits in that category. I think Max Scherzer fits in that category. That Greg Maddux category, where it's like every time he went to the mound, it was like, you're going to see something just totally special, today. And it's like this. It's like every time they step on the mound, it's a potential no-hitter. Halliday, right? It's like every time he stepped on the mound, it was like potential. Randy Johnson, right? It's like every single time out there, it was like, it was going to be a tough day on the hitters. But anyways, that's just me. I know, it's fun to bet against those guys. I bet against Tom Brady plenty, right? And I bet against Peyton Manning a ton. And, there's other guys out there that might end up being, those guys too. But anyways, let's get to our parlay section. Chris, Pirates, Mariners. What do you think?
No, I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars in the money line. I'm gonna take the Seattle Mariners money line in Game 1, and I'm gonna take the Dodgers on the money line.
How about you, Rod?
For me, I'm gonna take the Reds over 6.5 Game 1. Seattle money line Game 1, and the San Diego Padres money line over the Dodgers.
Brian?
Simple 2-game parlay, Twins and Padres today.
Marlins, Phillies over. I like the Mariners in Game 1, and I like the Chicago White Sox. That'll be my parlay for today. Anyways, enjoy Monday Night Football. I'll see you guys at halftime of that Steelers-Giants game. I'll see you guys at halftime of that Broncos-Titans game. maybe I'll drag one of these guys with me for one of those halftime shows. If not, I could always fly solo. I've been doing it for years. Anyways, been a great day. A little bit of time to talk some other stuff besides straight betting. I enjoyed that too at the beginning of the show. Hopefully you guys did. But that's kind of like all those thoughts there, kind of what goes through my head when we're doing, when I'm handicapping games. So, anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Promise we'll try and act more professional tomorrow. Have a great day.